Yo, what up? Welcome to Tiger Talk with Shak, man. As you can see in the background, that intro is nice, man. We are flooding that thing on up. Hey, we made that intro on YouTube, man. I'm really excited about it, man, because I'm not a digital editor, but if I can put something together, man, to make the channel look better, man, and to respect the craft, man, shout out for that, man. That is a big move, man. And so we doing numbers, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get right into it, man. But before we do, you already know how the saying goes and how the layout goes, man. Shout out to Spotify, shout out to Anchor. We're gonna look out for Google Podcasts, also Apple Music, man, Apple Podcasts. We appreciate y'all giving us a streaming service for free, and I appreciate that, man. Oh yeah, we're gonna get these buttons right today, man. Yesterday we were all off, man, but I am glad we're able to come to you, man. I'm glad we're able to give you what you need, man. A lot of what you want, and we're gonna give you all the rest, man, in opinionated form. So if you like what we're doing, man, shout out to you, man. If you don't like what we're doing, shout out to you, man. If we need to do something else, man, well, we're not changing that, but we're gonna keep it going, man, and keep it pushing. Hey, if you're trying to find me on the meta, man, hit me up, man. Coach Shaq Bryant on Instagram and Twitter. 10 on Instagram and also 19 on Twitter or 17, something like that. I don't know. It's hard to keep up, man, these days, man. Listen, you already know what today it is, man. Let's go. Yo, it's Friday, boy. You already know, man. Hey, listen, I'm excited about that, man. Not because it's Friday. Well, yes, Friday, right? But the fact that I'm alive, man. Somebody didn't wake up this morning, man. Somebody's not breathing right now, man. Somebody doesn't have the ability to move their limbs. And also, somebody can't blink. Somebody can't smell. Somebody can't hear. Somebody can't talk. Somebody can't walk. Somebody can't touch anybody. Somebody can't think for themselves. Hey, man, but it's not me. It's not my loved ones, man. And for that, you know I'm hyped. And it's Friday too, man. You know what I'm saying? It's Friday too, man. So we're gonna go ahead and kick it off, man. We're gonna kick it off with the weight loss section, man. The weight gain section, excuse me. We always push that to the back, man. And I don't want to get cut off today, man, because we have a full show, man. So it's not right to give you the same thing every day, and it's not right to not give you what you need, especially if you're trying to get better on that weight gain tip. You feel me? With that being said, man, let's go ahead and hop on into it, man. Listen, if you're drinking milk, you're doing the right thing. Some people say, I'm lactose intolerant. Well, guess what? You don't want to gain weight because sometimes we got to do what we don't want to do. But we also got to realize, man, that a lot of times it takes sacrifice, man. But if you can't drink milk, if you can't drink chocolate milk, if you can't drink regular milk, then try chocolate milk. If you can't drink chocolate milk, then I guess lactate to do for you. But it has a ton of proteins in it, man, and that's what you need, man, to gain weight. So we're trying to get you that, man, and hopefully it works for you, man. What's wrong, man? Like, if you can't drink milk, then what else are they supposed to drink? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they lactose intolerant, you want them to drink milk anyway? That'll mess your stomach up, man. So, but just drink milk, man. Protein is great for you. Also, eat more often and snack, and don't drink during meals, man. You have to realize that that is the secret to weight gain. Don't drink during your meals because why? A lot of times our body is not hungry, but it's thirsty. So if you're drinking, then guess what? Well, then you are fulfilling that thirst that you think is hunger, and then you're not going to eat as much. So, don't drink during meals, man. It's very critical, man. You can do that. You can win. And that's that. On world news, it is day 9 of the war. My thoughts exactly. Ukraine death toll is at 1,500, which means that Russia has killed 1,500 Ukrainian soldiers, but Ukraine has killed 2,200 of the Russians. Well, it's kind of hard to say, get excited and cheer for that because the thing is that anybody dying is not good. You know what I'm saying? those people are actually listening to Putin, man, and listening to the generals and the military advice that they're getting, and it's not really fair to them and their families that they have to put their life in jeopardy. So whether you're on the Russian side or the Ukrainian side, all war is wrong. According to the Ukraine, they said they've killed 5,200 Russians. And so they're like, man, this number's wrong. But, nobody knows, man. And we're not really over there. So you have to have it outside at third party, man, to actually get a fair number. And so we're going to go with that. Also, in comparison to that, let me show you what 2,500 deaths are. Okay. Back when we were over in Afghanistan for 20 years, we only lost 2,500 soldiers. So to say that they're right at that number and on the ninth day, that's pretty doggone serious. There's 1.2 million people that have left Russia and Ukraine. Now, one thing that was good was the people got together and they were like, hey, listen, um, you know, we have to do something about these people and their safety, the ones that aren't involved and the ones that want to get out. So they both declared that they would allow Russian and Ukrainians, or I don't know how you say that, but I think Ukrainians. So Russian and Ukrainian forces, they actually thought out a good way that they both can exit to neighboring countries and they can be safe. They wouldn't have to worry about getting hit with a bomb or torpedo. Torpedoes in the water, and well, technically they don't need water. It is some water over there, but there's no water fighting. So anyway, thought I'd throw that in there. Um, Making a transition. 50 Cent, man, he said, listen, stars, you have lost your mind. I'm grabbing my stuff and we're getting out of here. 50 can be a little emotional at times, man, but that's what makes him great, right? The fact that he has passion and love for what he does. But he is really mad about what? You know what I mean? Well, first off, he's mad at Power, and he's also mad at the fact that Power is not getting the same recognition as other shows. Now, what other shows are you talking about? Well, there's a show called Hometown. I believe that's the name of the show. Um, but it's a show that actually is entering its third season. And basically 50 is mad because, well, they renewed that show before they renewed Power Force 4, excuse me. Power number 4 called Force. This is the one with Tommy, which is Michael Sakura, or excuse me, Joseph Sakura. And it is Hometown. And the reason why 50 was mad was because, look, man, Force Power 4. All right. You're saying, man, listen, we got a rating of 8.2 on Rotten Tomatoes or Red Tomato, whatever it is, the big one. You know what I mean? Um, Pause. So so uh that's something that we have to look into, man. Hightown, man, they got a rating of 6.1 and Force got a rating of 8.2. So when it was time to come to the negotiating table, Stars wound up renewing the series Hightown for a third episode or third season. I think it's going to be 10 episodes. But for a third season, before they renewed Force Book 4, Power. Why do I keep messing that up? Listen, we're just going to say Force. We're not going to say Power and all of that, 4 or whatever. Just Force. All right. So Force is coming out with a season 2, and they're trying to get renewed, and they renewed Hightown before they did Force. 50 didn't like that because Power has been given the station ratings like crazy forever. Also, on top of Power, he has another show and he has one more show. I know that's BMF. And BMF is a Black Mafia family, man, a series about two little kids from Detroit. One of them is Meech, that actually, came up in the drug game, man, and it's really doing well. Well, 50 thinks is a matter of priority as far as show and producer priority rather than priority like we're next up. So he was like, man, I'm tired of this with you guys. And that's not their first time getting into a battle, but we're gonna get into that in a second. Power One. Now, Power One, if you're not familiar with that, that's with Amari Hardwick and Naturi Naughton. Basically, they're a power couple, and it's with Tariq St. Patrick, Raina St. Patrick, and Yasmin St. Patrick. These are the kids. Tariq is the older one. Tariq is played by Michael Rainey Jr., I think. And uh Raina is played by another young lady, but Raina character is, well, I don't want to tell it, but And then also you have Tommy, which is Joseph Sikora. Well, they're all in the first one. Also, a character named Angela Valdez is a major player. Also, a character named Sax. Well, anyway, it winds up going on for 6 seasons, and it's awesome. I've been watching it forever. Now, in Power Book 2 is when you look at Power through Tariq's new eyes after everything happened in Power 1. Power 3 is the rise of Canaan, which is 50 Cent's story on his life and how he came up. It sucks, but the other ones are pretty good. He comes back with Force, and that's the fourth one, and that's with Tommy, which is Joseph Sikora. If you have not seen this man act, this man is legit. I promise you. So that's what we're dealing with, man. And so, 50's like, look, man, like we should have precedence and priority, man. We've been bringing the company money for years. Like, what is really going on here? Now, the crazy part about it is 50 said, listen, man, I'm out. So he had a meme on Instagram where he was packing his stuff inside his bag and kicking it and all that. Now, if you don't know what 50 is, man, 50 is a troll just like Takashi 69, man. Shout out to Takashi, man. Everybody mad because my man snitched, man. Listen, dude is a civilian, and what happened with him. As far as people, hooking up with his girl and doing all type of stuff and robbing him, then I probably would have snitched too. But the thing is, man, if you about that life and you saying F all of this and all these people, man, if those people come knock on your door, regardless of how they knock on your door, it's your job to answer it and let them in. And I don't think, he realized that he was going to be a civilian or a street cat. But when you're on YouTube, like bump this dude. When I see you, I'm going to run into you. Whatever happens to you, man, come with the territory. Now, the reason why I brought that up is because 50 was a major key component and he backed 6ix9ine. And so he's doing 6ix9ine tactics now. He's always been a troll. This is not his first time saying that he was going to leave Stars. It's not his first time being mad at Stars. Matter of fact, a couple years back, they got mad at him for leaking the cast to Power Book 3, and he wound up leaking not only the cast. After they got mad at him, he wound up leaking a couple episodes, man. He was like, man, bump that. Well, now, they're paying him the same respect that he's given them in the past, and he doesn't like it. Remember, no bully likes to get punched in the face, man. That's not what it's at. Man, 50 Cent, he said basically, Stars, if y'all don't get this right, man, I'm about to be out of here. Now, his account with them or his contract with Stars, it's up in September, which means that that's around the time that BMF comes back. That's around the time that a couple of the other series come back. I think they might want to get this right because it's going to cost them a ton of money. Straight up, man. Not really, man. I just think that 50 has the power play in this situation, man. What else is on Stars? This Hightown show is not really nothing. The only thing that's on Stars is all of the shows that 50 has. Period. I mean, as far as when you're talking about sitcoms, if it's something else, man, y'all let me know. I'll wait. Exactly. All right, now I'm trying to figure out, man, as a person who works in high school, as a person who is a coach, as a person who is a teacher, I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on in these high schools. And I know a lot of people that don't, aren't familiar with what's going on in the high school. They're probably wondering like what's going on with the high school too, because a lot of times, man, like it's a major difference from when you went to high school. And so the first thing we kicking off the segment with is the school shooting, man. The school shooting was up in Kansas, man, at a school called Olith High School. Now, this school has never had incidents like this in the past, and it was just a rare occurrence. Well, you have a person that comes into school, he is stopped and deterred from making any more movements by the security or the high school security guard. And basically the admin, and he let shots off, man. He hit the police officer, he hit the admin, and well, they call him school resource officer. So he hit the school resource officer, which is a certified police officer, and he injured the admin. We're still waiting on breaking news from this story. I don't know the whole story or what's going on or what happened or what didn't happen, but you guys stay tuned for that, man, and we're gonna keep covering. Also, with that being said, um, rolling red boiling red boiling Springs High School in Tennessee, they had a PE teacher. And they always thought like, hey man, something going on with this lady, whatever. And they were trying to get to the bottom of what was going on. Well, the police officers wound up setting a sting up at the school. Turns out that this PE teacher, which was a pretty little lady, she was buying meth from the students, man. Shout out to the kid who was selling to his teacher. Nah, I'm just playing. That ain't funny. Hey, but look, this lady winds up making a huge mistake, man. She winds up being a part of a meth drug deal on school grounds. The police officers wound up detaining her and apprehending her, and I'm pretty sure that's the end of that. Third, a guy named Shamichael Pearsons. He's 18 years old. He's in custody and he's held on $350,000 bond, which that equates, if people don't know about law and stuff like that, or be getting in trouble, that equates into $35,000 because when you go through a bail bondsman, you got to pay 10% of what's going on. And with 10% of 350,000, that would be $35,000 so that that young man can get out of jail. Now I know of somebody I knew killed somebody. I'm not giving them 35,000. You're gonna have to sit and ride that one out to court time. But they might want to put that $35,000 on a lawyer rather than trying to get that young man out. I don't know what happened in the situation, but as far as young men losing their lives, I have zero tolerance for that. Also, who was killed was a 17-year-old guy, a basketball star named Devin Myers, from, and it was at Huntington High School. Now, this dude wound up getting shot in his back. He didn't even shoot him in the face. I guess the guy was running away trying to flee, which that makes the other kid, Shamichael, that makes his story more even harder to produce, good evidence that's going to serve him if he tries to fight this case. Because Shamichael shot Devin in the back 5 times while he was trying to run out of his own front yard. So that's not going to be good. He might want to take a plea deal for real because that's not good. West Orange High School, that's in Newark, New Jersey, or Orange, New Jersey. No, Newark, New Jersey. Anyway, West Orange High School. Kid wind up protesting, and he wind up trying to get everybody to protest. And the reason why he is protesting because he feels like he should be able to wear his do rag on campus. So he has other people that's on campus, and he's like, "Man, we should be able to wear our do rags. Let's protest. Let's throw a sit in so we can we can get support behind wearing do rags at school. We wear them in the neighborhood. We should be able to wear them at school. But here's the problem: you're not in the neighborhood, and you are at school. You know how I dress right now is not how I dress at work. If I'm going to something formal, I'm not gonna come up in shorts and in a t-shirt. No matter where you are or what you do when you're at home, when you enter a good setting, then guess what? Or a different setting, you're going to have to dress as that setting dictates. You cannot wear do rags at school. It is outlawed, and for good reason, because most of the people who wear do rags, well, I shouldn't make a comment on this, but most of the people that wear do rags, they are not conducting business unless it happens to be a professional athlete or something like that. But even then, they should be showing these young kids how to dress and how to maneuver and how to move around. You shouldn't have a do rag on, looking like you got drawers on your head that's tied up with the pee hole in the back. And that's just my take on that, man. I have a strong opinion, and guess what? That's why y'all come here. I say the things that people don't say. So that's what's up. Florida. Oh, matter of fact, this is a good story. Let's wait on this one. California high school, man, says that racist graffiti, the N word that was used right over the water fountain, was not a hate crime. Once again, not a hate crime. What? And that's crazy because it was the N word over a water fountain. Now, how is that not a hate crime? Well, let me just tell you how. Because the person that put it up was a black girl. What? What? Man, so anyway, so this girl decides to put a racial slur on over the water fountain. And her reasoning for doing that was to get somebody else in trouble, which I don't understand, like how you would do that to get somebody else in trouble. Like that's not even a joke or a game. It turns out that whatever happens to this young lady, it needs to be coupled with therapy and some help for real. Because if you're doing stuff like that, man, there's an underlying issue that nobody's talking about. But the last one, Florida makes it mandatory for kids to go through financial literacy classes. Literal. We struggling with our speech. I should have warmed up, but I just had to wing it, man, to get to something to y'all. But Florida, they're saying that they're making all the kids take financial literacy classes. That's right. Where you learn about money, learn about how to spend money, learn about the good and the bad about money, man. That is awesome for them. Shout out to them for that. Now, the NFL Combine, that's going to be the sports segment for the day. The NFL Combine is actually already started. Now, remember, we did a segment and we were saying that we don't know how the draft on the 23rd and 24th is going to be affected because these guys weren't going to attend the Combine originally. In the beginning, they wind up saying, hey, well, if we can't go and we can't go with everybody and we can't have agents, then we don't want to show up. Well, it's funny because all of that stuff got worked out, man. The agents got, everything got worked out with the agents. Everything got worked out with the players. They didn't have to show up with masks on and all the other stuff that they were asking them to provide. And to be honest, it's been going great. But a few standouts, man. Let's cover the quarterbacks and let's cover the wide receivers today. Now, the fastest 40 time for a quarterback was it was Desmond Ryder from Cincy, from Cincinnati University. He ran a 4.52. EJ Perry from Brown, he ran a 4.62. And Malik Willis, by far, in my opinion, he's the best thrower, the best signal caller in the game or in the combine right now. He's from Liberty University, man. I think this guy can wing it. But like I said, man, this is not a quarterback heavy draft. You don't have one quarterback, I believe, that will be a starter within the next 2 years. So what does this draft have? Remember, we talked about yesterday, man, they have a lot of fast, speedy receivers. And a couple being Tyquan Thornton, who went to Baylor. He wound up running a 4.21, but that was unofficial. Officially, off the handheld, off the AccuTrack, he ran a 4.28, and he had a good day catching the ball. Also, Velus Jones, man, Velus Jones from Tennessee, man, he wound up running a 4.31, and he had the second fastest 40 time. Danny Gray, who I thought was a sure favorite, and I thought he was going to break it according to, when he played in the senior game, they clocked him at like 21 or 22 miles an hour. So I thought he was going to break the record, but he didn't run as anticipated. He wound up running a 4.33 40-yard dash, which he came in fourth out of everybody that showed up. Now, the person that really stole the day, man, is none other than the guy from Memphis, baby. You already know, man. Everybody from Memphis, M-Town, baby, Orange Mound, you already know. North Memphis, you know what I'm saying? That's where I stayed at when I was out there. Don't think I was just out there in fairy tale land. Nah, I was in North Memphis, man, in the hood. You know what I mean? Shout out to the people who can survive and go anywhere. You know what I mean? But but this dude, man, Calvin Austin the third, man, he is legit. 5'8", 170, man, legit. When I tell you I know him and I watched him all year, I know him and I watched him all year. And that's not the only Memphis dude that's killing, man. Yeah, I check out my young gunner from University of Washington, man. I had the pleasure of coaching him in an all-star game, man, but we'll keep that quiet. Y'all do y'all research. All right, we'll report on him at some point. But Calvin Austin, man, they're comparing this guy to Tyreek Hill. And for good reason, because they match up quite similar. Tyreek, when he came out, he was 5'8", 185. And Calvin Austin, man, the third, he's 5'8", 170. So they're right there at it. But here's some differences. Calvin wound up running a 4.32, which was the third fastest in the whole draft. And Tyreek Hill, he wound up running 4.29, which means that he's 0.03 off of Tyreek Hill, that's not a lot of time. Like, he could run it again and run that. You know what I mean? So that's right there even. Also a vertical jump, man. Tyreek Hill, he wound up jumping 35. And then Calvin wound up jumping a 39 vertical. So basically, Tyreek jumps him by an inch and a half, which, of course, that big, that's not, not much. So I've heard. Yeah. So Calvin Austin the third, man, he wind up broad jumping 11 feet, point zero 0.03 on the broad jump. That's when you stand. If you don't know what these events are, the 40-yard dash is what I'm talking about. A person runs 40 yards straight ahead on a regular track surface, and they time how fast it takes to get there. So basically, Tyreek Hill, he wound up doing it in 4.29, and Calvin Austin the third, he wound up doing it in 4.32 seconds, which is blazing fast. When we talk about the vertical jump, it's just like jumping up without moving your feet. Your feet are planted. You don't get a step. You don't get a takeoff. You just got to jump up and touch as high as you can on these like spin around things that are basically is used to measure your vertical jump. How high can you jump from the ground all the way up? Now the broad jump is basically like a horizontal jump. You have both of your feet straight ahead. They're gonna put a tape measure out, and you have to jump from a standstill position without your feet moving, one burst, and go as far as you can, um not in the lateral direction but in a forward direction. So Calvin Austin the third, man, he did his in 11:03, and then Tyreek Hill did his in 10 10.9. So basically, Tyreek Hill is better than him in a 40 and the vertical, barely. And then Calvin Austin the third, he's better than Tyreek Hill in the broad jump. So that's that, man. We're gonna start winding down, man. Let's go over the recap. But before we do, man, gotta have a motivational section. So let's talk to these boys, man. But you're gonna have some ups and you're gonna have some downs. Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful. The human spirit is powerful, but what do you think? What do you think? People that talk about you, man, what do you think about that? People that say you're sorry, what do you think about that? People that say that you're not going to make it, what do you think about that? People that talk about you behind your back, what do you think about that? People that say that you would never make your full potential, what do you think about that? They say you got a bad attitude, what do you think about that? They say you're not studying, what do you think about that? They say you're not prepared, what do you think about that? You know why I keep saying, what do you think about that? Because it don't matter my next segment unless you think according to what I am talking about. So, yeah, but what do you say? That's the motivation for the day. Yeah, but what do you say? Because people can say whatever they want to say about you. It's not until you digest it and you start thinking about what they say according to your life and you inherit that thought. Until you inherit that thought, it doesn't mean anything. Somebody can say you're sorry, you're not a good football player. Guess what? Well, what do you say? Because if you think you're good, then you're good. But if you think what they think, then you're not good. You have to understand that anything in life, man, is not about what they say, it's about what you say. What do you say you are? What do you say? How great do you think you're going to be? How great do you think you're striving for? You know, how you're striving. What are you trying to go do? What are the great things that you have laid out for yourself? And what do you say about those? Because remember, as a man thinketh, so is he, which means that as you think in your mind, that eventually is going to come out of your mind. So if you think you're fat, eventually you're going to call yourself fat. If you think you're ugly, eventually you're going to call yourself ugly. You are going to say what's in your mind. That's why it's good to live life in a clear head, without negative emotions and negative things tied up to it, because it's about what you say. It's about what you think about yourself. It's not about what naysayers think. You just have to believe in yourself, because belief is faith, and believing in yourself and faith are cousins. Believing and faith are cousins. You believe, you believe in your mind, you say it out your mouth, you believe it, you think it, you live in it. And that's the word for the day, man. And we're gonna wrap it up right now, man. But um but with that being said, man, tough segment, man. We had some stuff going on in high schools, man. Make sure you pray and be prayerful and pray for the high schools. Remember, taking prayer out of high school was the worst thing that they could have done. NFL draft. Remember, Calvin Austin the third. He had a phenomenal day, man, and he's gonna get paid, man. So make sure you keep watching this guy. And if he comes to the Cowboys, oh my God, I'd be so excited. We just lost a receiver. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Also, pray for Ukraine and Russia as they enter the ninth day, but they also are getting people from over there and over and from that mess. So that's cool. Remember, blood is thicker than water. Only in certain cases you need water to live. You learn that in the basics. You better cherish your aces, and you know I rock on my aces, man. Appreciate everything y'all do for me, man. Salute.